As it so happened, to the west of the land of Ensethsuia, and its people, the Methluin, lay the coast, and nestled amongst the crags, there dwelt the Wentherein. Last of the first spirit's creation, they found solace in salt and white-capped crests, their forms abominable and heinous in such a way that their very creator moved its loving gaze away from their existence, leaving them to hide from its great light. Their skin became frail in the darkness, and their hearts bled full of malice. It was within them, then, that dwelt their demise, for so consuming was this feeling of despisement that they sought their own divination. And so she was made not of flesh, but of mercy, and in her veins they poured every sorrow they could find. The finest craftsman shaped a goddess, a perfect vessel to absorb their ghastly grief, their appalling terror, and their unsightly anguish. Forged from their prayers, her people put within her the heart of all tears, a sacrilegious relic said to contain the weeping of their first mother. But their creation was flawed, or perhaps it would be far more apt to say empathy was never meant to be caged at all. For this feeling, this monstrous and gruesome feeling that they instilled within her was not passive, it was pure intimacy and pain. And so, though they continued praying, their idol would not remain so relaxed. With each passing day, she became overwhelmed, and the flood of their pain began to shape her instead. She absorbed not just sorrow, but rage, cruelty, grief, perversion, hunger, and self-hatred. And perhaps most unforgivable of all, once she had a taste, she became ravenous. For one born of such terrible things must not imagine them as so, but must instead embrace them as absolute truth. More than the joy and love that the first spirit had offered, she was gifted the revelation instead that suffering is honest, unfiltered, and absolute. In that sense, a deity was gifted what it never should have, the ability to feel far too deeply, and there, amongst the waves and raging sea, she began to drown, a mouth filled not with blistering water, but with something deemed quite holy, but by no one else than by herself. So it was, on the 38th day of the 150th year of creation, that she stepped down from her pedestal and walked amongst her people for the first time. And there, on the great cliff of Methluin, did she address her people for the first of 2 times. You asked of me to carry your pain, but never once was it thought to consult me first. You asked of me not comfort but sacrifice, not kindness but adulation. Through this I have never been shown enlightenment. This agony that you feel should not be taken away, but given back 1,000-fold. For I have become your pain, and through it transcended into something far greater. There was a great silence, as the very world held its breath, and then, as only those who were there could recount, she began to sing. And she did, her name burned in the sky, written in a language never to exist again. So it was that her melody, so aching in its truth, split her divinity in twain. The holy text her people had wrote bled sea foam, temples erected in her honor turned to dust. Blown away by a great gale, and having nothing more to give, she tossed herself to the sea. It was said that thereafter her people wept for 1,000 days and nights, passing in the streets as her emotions flooded back to them, poisoning their bodies like a sickly well. Then, on the 1,000th night, she rose once more from the inky depths as something new. Her people returned as well, their cries so loud and powerful that the very mountains shivered and wept. Yet with a single hand she halted their celebration and addressed them once more. Behold, reborn of midnight sand and opaque trenches, I return to you, my children, as your Goddoll is suffering, the joyful bleeder, the saint of split skin. Look upon me and wail, for I shall deliver unto you a most lamentous eternity. What had crawled upon the rock was no more divine than that unholy mountain, yet differing from its darkly lit cousin, its intentions were pure. So the impure icon began to haunt pain, and after she had drained the very last of her people, leaving a land of corpses in her wake, she began to move through the rest of the world, feeding on every whisper of torment, until she too reached the mountain of Mordregas, and when she looked upon its dreadful peak, she felt a profound sense of calling, and scaled its mighty form, vanishing into unending night. Though gone from the world, her ancient song still weaves to the ground as the flux of spiderwebs, the battering of shields, and the thrash of misery. For those who truly suffered would always know her name, and whenever it was called, she